I met Martha on, well, we met at church, but the first time we spoke was in the church bus. So the first time I saw her was inside the church, like around the church, but we only really spoke to one another inside the church bus, and she was asking me all these many questions. And no, I must have been the one who approached her. But I remember we had a couple of conversations in the bus. Yeah. So most of the memory I have of us meeting is in the bus. So yeah, that's the first time we spoke.
Yeah, the church bus, but then I remember he asked a lot about what to study and yeah.
But that wasn't in our first conversation, was it? Probably later on, because we met.
I don't remember.
We met in. I got saved in April.
You got saved in March.
I got saved in March, but really only started going to church in April.
I got saved in April.
Yeah, she got saved in April. So, but I would assume we probably really only spoke in May. So we most probably met around May, the first time we actually spoke. So I'm sure the first conversation wasn't
remarkable.
Yeah, it was probably just,
yeah.
I don't know. But I can't remember what we spoke about in our first conversation. Cause yeah, I'm not the kind of guy who approaches a girl on the off the bat. Like, it's just not my thing. So I'm sure I probably only spoke to her in May. Yeah, that's how we met.
When I first saw him, nothing really. Just that he was very inquisitive. He asks a lot of questions. He's very inquisitive, so he'll ask questions and you'll answer and you'll have a follow-up question. Otherwise, it was just really this tall, skinny dude. But otherwise, just a tall dude, I guess.
And skinny.
Yeah, but yeah, nothing really. I think that's what I thought, that he asked a lot of questions. But I was very annoyed as well. Like, most of the time when I'm answering the bus, I'm annoyed because I want to get to school fast and stuff. But yeah, what did you think?
Okay, so what did I think when I first saw Martha? I remember, I don't remember what exactly she was wearing, but I do remember that I just thought she looked interesting. So I think, so Martha has this, she's dark skinned and she has this African thing going on. And I've always liked girls that were dark skinned and have this African thing going on. So I remember I saw her and I was just like, this girl looks interesting, you know. I was in a relationship a few months before, or perhaps even just when I got saved. I think about a month later, I had to end the relationship, and so obviously I wasn't thinking of relationships or anything in that line. So I was trying to keep myself guarded to some degree, not to get like you see someone and then you're already trying to make moves. But I do remember just thinking, this girl just looks interesting. Yeah. Keep in mind, we were like I was 17, you were 19? So yeah, I was quite much smart. I don't expect that she was impressed by how I looked. I was like in the hostel. And so you know how hostel food is? I was, we're eating hostel food, and so I was quite scrawny and small, and yeah, that's what I thought when I saw her. I wouldn't say it was love at first sight. I think at most I thought I do admit that I thought she was beautiful, as much as I didn't want to admit it, because I didn't want. As I said, I'd been in a relationship a few months before, and I didn't want to, I just gotten saved. I wanted to focus on my relationship with Jesus. So it wasn't love at first sight, but I definitely thought she was pretty hot.
I can continue, right? I think after the first time I actually met you, it was it. I kind of didn't think.
Oh my God. Bing.
I didn't think anything more to it. Like,
Wow.
oh, okay, you asked a lot of questions and.
That was it. This is annoying.
No. and that was it. But I did definitely get that feeling that you're a very interesting person because you ask questions. You ask a lot of questions. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
I mean, let me just set the record straight. I was never too shy. I mean, come on, I'm not bad looking, so I'm sure she's hiding what she was really feeling. She was probably really sweating. Yeah.
I think 2014, December.
I
don't. I don't know.
You better remember.
I don't remember how Joe got my number, but I know we were chatting. So yeah, I think it's we started chatting really, and he would tell me what he was doing because we were both at the north at that time. He was giving me an update on what he was doing in the north. Like he had to herd the cattle and yeah, basically. For me, I was happy to be there. I think he was very excited. I even got a picture of a cattle that was, of a cow that was giving birth. That was very interesting. I think only Joe would do that. But yeah, we communicated a lot that holiday, and I think that's where we became friends.
Yeah, pretty much. I think just to add on to what you said, so this was December of 2014. So from the time that we met to the time we actually became friends, it was probably like 2 years and maybe a few months, 5 months or so. I think so. We're probably acquaintances for the first 2 years. We'd talk casually and there at church, but we'd never go out of our ways to speak to one another. But I remember that December holiday. So she's trying to make me look like a stalker. She gave me her number herself.
I don't even remember.
I must have asked for it, and then she probably gave me her number. But we were in the north, so this was December, so I was on school holiday. We were both in school, and yeah, we're in the north. And then one afternoon, I think I was bored, or I think I was sort of like, okay, I knew she was in the north, so I was like, oh, let me check up like what she's doing and that sort of thing. And I was very much surprised by what she was telling me she was doing. It was all this sort of, like traditional house chores that she was doing, and she was washing everyone's clothing and cooking and all this very traditional kind of stuff. And I think I was quite impressed because I think I had the perception that she's just this posh little girl who doesn't know how to do anything. Because she always, she was always well put together, and as for me, I always loved the north. Like I grew up in Windhoek for the most part, but every holiday I'd always go back to the north. So I think that's why I was so excited. For me, it was always exciting going to the north and herding the cattle, and yeah, I just love that kind of stuff. That's really me. Yeah. I think that's how we initially became friends. December 2014.
Was it the same December I got a book?
From who?
From you for Christmas?
No, it couldn't have been. Yeah. It must have been maybe the year after.
Next.
Okay, so we've been dating for about, what, 2 years? Almost 2 years. So it's like probably 2 years on the 16th of July.
Yeah. But you asked me out on the 11th of July. And then on the 16th, I said, okay.
You said okay?
I said, okay. Yeah.
Oh,
so
wow.
6 days later. Or 5 days later.
Okay, so this was what, 2017?
Yeah, 2017.
Okay. Yeah, so like almost 2 years basically. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Okay.
But then it's
You
weird
first
to
gave me
say
a
yes.
no, and then you give me a yes.
I didn't actually say the no.
Yeah, but you're implying it. No. Let's do that over.
I say, I'm sorry, but it's a yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what you said.
Yes, it was
Exactly.
a setup.
Yeah. How I was gonna ask her. I was thinking, okay, we're probably gonna do like a picnic, somewhere like in a garden or something like that, and then I was gonna pop the question. I asked few of her friends, and did I?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, and they were sort of thinking the same thing, but in the end, I decided to sort of to ask her out at a restaurant, but the catch was that I had invited all her friends, her family, my friends, so people that we knew, common friends, like and her family, of course. And it was like a surprise. So I think it was like the attitude was like, oh, okay, I owe you a date, or like I owe you. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna take you out, and then everyone was already there at the venue. It was like on a, what is it, balcony sort of thing.
A rooftop.
A rooftop, yeah. So then what happened? Yeah, so I came, we got there, and we were downstairs, and I had someone come to her, like I had pre-recorded a short clip, and sort of telling her, just follow this gentleman upstairs, something like that, I think. And I was upstairs, I mean, I was already on the rooftop, and I had like a bouquet of flowers, and there was music playing. And of course, I was nervous like crazy. I was, I think on the outside, it was cool. But deep down, I was just like, if this girl says no, all these people go. So I was like, some part of me was like, what am I going to do if she says no? But deep down, I think I knew, I trusted that she would say yes, because I think I knew that she loved me, and I loved her, of course. And so when she walked up the stairs and the music was playing, I could definitely tell she had this bewildered look on her face, like, what is happening? Like, we're supposed to be here just for a normal dinner date. And then she walked up the stairs, and so I gave her the bouquet of flowers, and she was sort of speechless. I'm not sure if you could tell what was going to happen. I think she still had this look of like, what is happening? And then I think I said a few words, probably something really cheesy. And then I went down on one knee, and I popped the question. And she, you know what? She actually looked at me for a couple of seconds before she actually answered. It wasn't like, yeah, like when we see in the movies. She gave me a fright for a bit there, so then I think she probably took like maybe 8 seconds or so. And I was just saying like, girl, you better say yeah. And then she said yes, yeah.
The week before that, I asked that we should hang. He turned me down, and he said he has a family meeting and that I'm not invited. So I was really like offended the whole week. And so he owed me like an outing. But then leading to the venue, we drove in circles, and he was driving extremely slow, which is very unlike Joe, because Joe drives very fast. So so and then when I went to sit down at the restaurant, was it Confag or something like that? He stood up, he went to the bathroom, and he stayed so long, so I was annoyed, and there was a birthday party happening on the ground. So I was so annoyed, and then these two guys come up to me. I'm like, I really didn't have my best face on that day, so I was really very annoyed, and I think just angry, and I was a bit confused as well. But it was the best day of my life. It was really
babe.
It was the best
I never heard this with.
But
Okay. Yeah, that's basically how it went down. So I think Mother and I had been friends for like what, almost 4 years at the time. So at that point in my life, there was really no one else that I was that close to. I remember I had, I used to ask my friend like, how do you make friends that are girls? I didn't have any almost, but with Mother it was just so natural. Like we're actually friends, and so that made it very easy when the time came. And I think, I remember this is one time I was in the car. I think I'd gone to drop I'd gone to drop her at school, and I was sort of asking her a couple of questions and just sort of seeing like where's her heart and what does she want to do for God and that sort of thing. And basically what she was telling me was like, whatever God has called me to be or whatever He's called me to do, that's what I want to follow. And I remember that just sort of blew me away. And I was just like, whoa, like who does I want this guy. I was just like so blown away by that, but I was just like, wow. Like she has a heart that is surrendered to whatever God wants it to do. And I think that really was a major point when I knew like, okay, this girl is really like, she's the it. But yeah, our friendship played like a very big role. Yeah, major role, because what says that our friendship probably played like a major role in how we, for me to choose, because it was very natural. And she had literally become my best friend at that stage. Like we spoke every day. We could speak about anything, and we spoke for hours and hours. And it was not like for a short period. It was like years of the same thing. Like we were always speaking, and it was just so easy and so natural. And I really just couldn't really imagine myself being with anyone else.
You're quite mean sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, how about you, babe? Why did you say yes?
The one thing about Joe is that he cares. Like there's just something about him that you can start a conversation with Joe, and at the end of maybe like 30 minutes, you would have told him everything about yourself, and he'll just ask and he'll keep asking. And that's what I fell in love with, because you cared a lot. That's the main thing that I fell in love with.
I'm blushing.
This interview is over. I don't want to.
Okay.
For real.
Wow, babe. I never heard that. I never heard you say that.
It's all up to me. I'm kidding. But I remember very clearly how it went down, but I just want to hear his version of it, and then I'll tell the truth.
Okay, well, I don't remember exactly how it happened, but I think it must have been. I think it was in the car. I went to drop her off at her place at the time, and I remember I was like, I love you, and she was just like, okay. And I was sort of like, okay, how are you feeling about it? He didn't say nothing. I think maybe it was probably maybe 2 months, and I'd been saying it. I kept telling her I loved you, and I think it was probably only like 2 months later or so that she finally told me. It was like, I love you, and I was like, whew. Yeah.
We had gone out on a date.
No.
And you were dropping me at home. I got off the car. We said our goodbyes, and I closed the gate. And I don't know, I was gonna walk to the door, like to the open and stuff. And then he says, "I love you." And I froze for a while because I didn't expect it. I thought you already you drove off already. Yeah, and I said okay. Because it took me off guard. But yeah.
Yeah, that's very much like her. To say okay. Yeah, and that was That's basically how it happened. So, I love you, babe.
I love you too.
From this point on, I am so excited to share life with Martha. I think I've always, wanted to be married, and I never thought I'd, find someone like her. I think I'm so blessed, and I couldn't be more grateful. And I think it's, for me, I think I'm gone. Like this is it. Like this is it for me. This is until forever. Yeah.